Digital transformation is a key for post-COVID enterprise resilience. COVID-19 forces biggest acceleration in digital transformation. How has digital transformation enabled your business to navigate the COVID-19 situation? What can you learn from this prepare for the next big thing? Now let's listen to the intro.
Welcome to the OTech Talks podcast, where it's all about working on technologies. You will hear the latest tech information, and your host, Kashif Manzoor, brings together product overviews, how-tos, best practices, tips and tricks, and troubleshooting techniques.
Welcome to OTech Talks podcast. This is session number 74, and I'm your host, Kashif Manzoor, is with you with the new session on the digital transformation, what we are going to do after the post-COVID-19. As the number of organizations, number of countries have opened, a lot of organizations started opening their offices, and now the key question is coming back. What's we're going to do with the business? Are the digital is the way to work on it? So that's what we're going to talk today. If you're new to the show, Open Tech Talks is your weekly sandbox for technology insights, experimentation, and inspiration with the primary objective of learning and sharing. And this is our session number 74. This is with a short break during the summer, and due to my study, which I'm doing MS in artificial intelligence, due to that one, it dragged me to complete some of the assignments. Now, we understand the world has changed, this is why the analyst and everybody is talking about what is going to happen with the post-COVID-19. And the resilience how resilient organizations or communities or citizens are, or how the business is gonna start back. And the truth, it is, will keep changing, and we need to adapt to this. We need to transform our business services to play our role in shaping the new normal of the world. That's what everyone is calling the new normal. And I will start with my own experience of digital transformation, what I have observed as a citizen. And we will cover four main topics during today's session. A personal experience, how the post-COVID-19 world is digital, how it's going to impact or why it's happening. 4 actions to take quickly on this. If you are working in any organization, what are the 4 actions you need to take? And then what you need to do as a first 90 days plan to make it happen. This is very important. That what are the actions you need to do in your organization so that you are on the path of digital transformation which is required as an organization. So now let's start with my own experience, and I thought to share with you because that was very amazing for me. And last week I went to the local hospital for my routine checkup. And at the reception desk, I have to present the ID card or some proof to get the queue number for consultancy of the doctor. That's the normal process, that you go to the front executive or front office executive, and you show all the documents, and then he will give you the token number, which is basically the queue number. And this queue or token number will lead you to the nursing area, and then it will become your queue number to go to the doctor's room for the consultancy. Now on that day, what she said, instead of giving me the token number, that the print out of that paper, she said, yeah, you just check your mobile and you got it through the SMS. And I checked my mobile, and there was a message, surprising to me, that it was written as that, okay, this is your token number, and then this is your room, and you need to go to that room. And then you start watching the screen where the number appears, and then you follow that routine process. Now, when she just told me check your mobile, and at that time I realized that she didn't print the pages or the files, which is usually the central part of this process. A physical file. Whenever I used to go to hospital, then she has to take a print out of the physical file papers, and then put it in a one physical file, and then this file was traveling across the hospital. And it should go to the first nursing area, and then they take your temperature and every routine checkup, and then it goes to the doctor room, and then doctor write it down, prescriptions, history, and everything. So whole process was around this file, physical paper file. And sometimes you have to monitor the file, where it went, so that you can expedite the process. And on that day, I realized that she didn't printed any paper, and she just said that everything is in the computer, and the doctor will take care of it. And that's how COVID-19 has made the digital transformation in a small local hospital, which was not at all possible, or maybe it would have taken many years, because almost 8 to 10 years I'm going in the same hospital, and I can say even my whole family, my kids, I was used to take them, and in last 8 to 10 years it was not possible. They haven't done it. And even the same paper from that process was followed very, very extensively and very religiously. And I was witnessing of all those processes. So you can imagine a small change. And if I refer to the digital transformation in the sector of governments, how the services are being provided here in Dubai government, that's amazing. Now, that was a personal experience, and apart from that, as in a professional role, I'm working with a number of organizations, large organizations, to transform their processes, primarily on the back office, which is either they're working on financials, human resources, supply chain, customer experiences with Oracle technologies. That's as my professional role. And then only on that front, a lot of things are happening with a lot of customers are taking very seriously after the post-COVID-19, which was not possible even before that. Now, within just 3 to 4 months, the whole hospital has transformed the way they were working. And it was all done with all the change management, whatever was required. Now you can imagine that how I enjoyed the process of journey from registration to till reaching to the pharmacy. No paper was used, and this all happened in last 4 months, which was not possible during last 10 years. So what you, me, and everyone is observing is that COVID-19 has the wake-up call, and leaders have to stop talking the talk, which we used to say, talking the talk about digital transformation, and they have to start walking the walk. They need to really work on it. Digital transformation has always inspired everyone in the business and consumer world. However, embracing the digital transformation is historically slow. In some of the sectors, and some of the sectors, it was reasonably acceptable, and we have done a number of sessions on it. If you go to the otechtalks.tv, under the menu of digital transformation, you will find a number of more 20 plus sessions on how the different surveys or different characteristics of digital transformation, how it's happening in different organizations. And now it's a time, and the requirement is urgent. And those organizations who are not able to transform will become irrelevant, or we can say uncompetitive. Or maybe, to put it in the right words, they will not be in the market. That's what it is happening. Now, we understand COVID-19 has created a lot of problems for economies all over the world, and there's no question about it. However, these unprecedented challenges leading to an opportunity for businesses to flourish based on new reality, which is a new normal, to transform completely digital and touchless. And this touchless is also important if you're talking about deliveries and all that one. And it got a new lifeline, which we say is digital transformation has got a new lifeline, and it is influencing every sector in the world, selling groceries to the telehealth. No doubt, world leaders and business owners are implementing innovative methods to minimize the disruption caused to our humanity. And this is the only time to refocus on digital transformation and giving the right priority so that we all must be ready for the next disruption to our world. Which I pray, I hope that it should not, it must not be like this, the way we face it now. But talking about, end users, consumers are supporting this move to accept any digital way of getting things done or solving their day-to-day requirements. And this is the right time for digital solutions to be implemented as the change management is already done. What is happening, the most challenging part of any business transformation was the change management, which is now managed by COVID-19. So we have got another change manager, which is our PM project manager, which is a COVID-19. And the acceptance is high at this point of time. Whatever you do digitally within your organization, the acceptance is high. The resistance is very low from the users because they also understand, they also faced it. So the major part of any project, any digital transformation implementation, and if you go to our earlier session where we have talked on the challenges on the digital transformation, so one of the major was the change management. That is being done by the COVID-19. And if we relate to some of the statistics on the internet or the Google which is coming, many organizations were delaying digital transformation. And it was not on the list or facing enormous challenges, and they are unable to deliver a positive digital experience or even to deliver a business nowadays, which they were delaying it from over the years. So this is the time for all of you, for all of us, as still the world is coming back to normal and overall transaction volume is not as in the past. So you have got an opportunity to build digital platforms that are for your business and your consumers, and the time is now for everyone of the organizations, the countries, the governments which are accelerating to digital transformation are ahead of the rest of the to succeed in the new digital paradigm that is post-COVID-19. Now, if we talk about the post-COVID-19, and there's no doubt it's a digital world, and it's a new normal, and in the new normal require a significant investment in the digital tools, platforms, and capabilities for each organization on this planet, and the government need to do it for their own citizens. So if we relate to this to some of the early survey from the COVID-19 CIO Pulse survey for PwC and strategy. So what they have done they have done the survey, and based on the survey, so the top priorities according to survey for 2020, the CIO's survey, which they got as a source of the survey, and I will put it in the show notes, the Pulse survey from PwC strategy. And that got the top 5 most important digital concentrations 2020. And 64% said the improve resilience in cybersecurity and privacy, invest in digital customer experience requirements, that's 60%, implement digital collaboration and workplace tools, 58%, invest in new technology-enabled business models, 49%, simplify IT landscape, 42%. That's during the 2020. And now if we will compare, and then they asked another question on what you're going to do, or what is your top 5 most important digital considerations in 2021. And in that they say the ratio is, the percentage has changed. 55% said invest in digital customer experience requirements, and then 54% said improve resilience in cybersecurity and privacy. 52% said invest in new technology-enabled business models. 50% said simplify IT landscape. And 46% said accelerate key investment on the digital tools. Now this was a survey from the CIOs regional on the 2020 and 2021. And you can observe the priorities are on to simplify the IT landscape. And if I relate with what I'm observing while during my professional life, doing the talks with the regional CIOs or in any global forums or the articles which we are reading it, the COVID-19 has fast forwarded the digital adoption. Some of the analysts, some of the articles are saying even 5 years or more. And you all are left to embrace this, the new normal. So that's how it kick-started. It accelerated the digital transformation or the business transformation in our world. Now, how to start living in the new normal, that's another important point is. So we need to start living, and then we need to embrace the new normal with the digital transformation in your business. And being a leader of your organization, or being an employee in the organization, or being a consumer or an end user, you have a role to play. And you have to act on this role now, whatever in capacity or whatever the role you have in your life. And if you refer to this situation, to what industry analysts are saying, McKinsey & Company has outlined in an article a roadmap for post-COVID-19 growth, the 3-stage process. The first stage is navigating the crisis now. Second stage is planning for the recovery. The third stage is leading the next normal. That's how they categorize 3 stages: navigating the crisis now, planning for the recovery, and leading the next normal. And in the second phase, the main focus is on how you will fast-track digital transformation activities in your organization, which is planning for recovery, which is our current phase. And in these 3 stages, to navigate quickly and rightly, you have to have tiger teams and SWAT teams for talented individuals. And if you want to get more information on tiger teams and SWAT teams terms, we have done an earlier podcast on otechtalks.tv. You can go and listen to that one. And this is what these are teams requires. McKinsey & Company in the article mentioned or has suggested the agile squad model. And in this model, they have suggested 5 type of areas where consumer and market insight squad, that inside your organization you build the teams. You need to build this growth squad. You need to build marketing and cash liberation squad, digital marketing and sales squad, post-COVID-19 growth squad. So all these 5 areas are relevant to your organization, our organizations, where each team will have the authority, role, and mandate to take the decision, to evaluate, suggest the roadmap, the actions. That's how the business need to come back to the recovery stage. And what are the top actions you're going to take on this one? There's no doubt that, fast tracking the digital transformation or adoption with the context of new normal. Over the past few months, there's a complete change to each area of business in our lives. Therefore, everything needs to be re-strategized. The method of touch points to your businesses. And we cannot do this with the old techniques that, we will take a time to manage today's problem after a few months. And as the recovery scenarios will be different for different responses for the end users and the consumers, employees, citizens, therefore, analyzing these signals in real time and then adapting and then responding quickly is very important for the recovery. And for recovery, you need to have these squad, you need to have the tiger teams, SWAT teams in place so that they work on it and then they navigate to this new normal. Now, as for the agenda, we have our top items on this interning. Those top items on this interning or on this for you, for everyone, for the agenda, what we need to do it as during this recovery stage. First is architecture in the era of resilience. So we need to re-architecture. We need to see the foundation of our architecture, business and technology architecture. We need to re-look into the fundamentals of architecture that support our business and services. As we do understand the requirement to integrate business and technology strategies from the last decade. However, business outcome-based architecture remains a challenge between business-focused architecture folks and IT-focused architecture folks. we always have to bring them back to the common grounds. That was what was that this is what was happening. However, we have designed architectures based on certain environments with certain conditions. Those conditions were pre-COVID-19. Now we are in the new normal, and it means the legacy segregation of business architectures, which was connecting people and activities with how to operate our business, so including business processes and administration of these processes, was different. And on the other hand, we were focusing on technology architectures that was to manage how business hardware, software, devices, data is required to run the entire business process. So these were two entirely different domains or different streams. So we have to, and then we were trying to bring them together. And then if you're new to the podcast, we have already done then how to architect, what is the role of architectures in the business. And with this COVID-19, the role has increased their importance. So we have to redesign the technology architectures and the business architectures. And we need to bring them together. We need to bring alignment onto that one, business and technology architectures. And because this is the backbone of your business, with this restructuring, the technology and business architectures, you will be far effective in addressing changes that are required to thrive in this rapidly changing world. So that's what first action you need to do is that architecture in the era of resilience. Business and technology architecture need to be redesigned, remodeled, relooked with the new circumstances, new situation. Second is changing customer and end user, employee, citizens' experience or expectations. Organizations have to remodel the journeys, like quickly rethinking the customer journey and adopting the digital solution accordingly. And this will depend on each sector or line of business differently. You cannot take a customer journey or employee or end user journey similarly for each thing. So it applies to all the businesses, organizations, and then similarly it applies to the governments. They have to remodel the citizens' experience for the services which they are offering it. So changing customer, end user, employees, citizens' expectations and how to meet them. Third is bring data to life, or we say use emerging technologies, Internet of Things, AL, ML, digital systems and all that to cope with operations. When we say bring data to life, use emerging technologies, it's mean how you will simplify, how you will improve your processes, operations, how you will manage it. And you need the data, you need the insights, you need to take actions. And organizations have to unite, collect, and analyze. These three actions are important. Unite means you need to bring together each and everything, each touch point. And then collect. And then based on the collection of the data, we need to analyze it and take actions on that. And based on this data, you need to create new models, which may be like a forecasting, demand forecasting, or like asset management, or maybe an organizational remodeling to reach real-time decision making. All these sources of data and build analytics for recalibration to reflect the post-COVID-19 reality. This is very important for each and every one organization and even for the governments. Fourth is relook to your tech platform or technology platform or the toolkit, software, hardware, modernize it, transform the information technology. Spend, work on it, reevaluate it. Because last 4 or 5 months, you have supported the business, whether through the remote work, whether giving access to the businesses to complete the month-end closing, taking payments, accessing it, all you have done that. Now it's a time to evaluate the technology platform or the software or hardware. To come out from the crisis and aftershocks, you need to develop and deploy digital solutions very quickly and rapidly. This is very important. As COVID-19 is helping in the change management, you need to put a strategy in place and adopt your organization to these new digital solutions. based on the finalized operating model, whatever the business model you're going to decide it, so that it can be rolled out to customers, employees, and citizens. So the turnaround time is quickly, which is required by the business. And the acceptance, the implementations of cloud and emerging technologies will have to be accelerated. And this must include all layers, from applications to development tools to infrastructure. Until you will bring cloud operations to your on-premise, you will not be able to decommission legacy infrastructure. So which will help you to lower the base cost and spare fund for the right digital solution development and deployment. That's another important area that you need to look into the cloud solutions. It cannot be left behind. You can do this quickly and reduce the IT cost. And when you reduce the IT cost with this relook of hardware, software, and all things, with the entire IT stack. So what is going to happen that you're going to remove the non-essential costs of your projects or maintenance, and then maybe a reallocating of resources. And then you will be redirecting this cost to the new projects or the new adaptation. Similarly, you also need to think or reestablish the skills and roles which are the needed. Some key researchers are saying about the skill gap after the COVID-19. To navigate successfully through this catalyst of change, you need to fundamentally redesign both the technology architecture and the business architecture that support our businesses or your business. Now, these are the 4 actions which you need to do. But if we move into the last part, which is the question, how can this be done? And I like on this area is the 90 days plan to make it happen. And you may have read many articles how to plan initial days of digital transformation in your organization. And even back in March 2020, I have also done a podcast on that was a 62 number podcast, I think, the first 100 days of digital transformation. However, with the COVID-19, the situation is different, and along with the recovery planning, I like the article from McKinsey & Company. The article is The COVID-19 Recovery Will Be Digital, a plan for the first 90 days. What is your plan for the first 90 days on digital transformation in your organization? This is the question you need to ask yourself. And if I will just put a summary of the article of the first 90 days of your plan, and these are the 90 days which we are going, and a plan for the first 90 days of efforts into 4 areas which you need to launch immediately, which is talking about the sprint 1, which is days 1 to 129. And those 4 areas are the refocused digital efforts towards changing customer expectation, use new data and AI to improve business operations, selectively modernize technology capabilities, increase organizational drumbeat. In these 4 areas, the sprint 1 is between days 1 to 29. Sprint 2 is days 30 to 59. And sprint 3 is days 60 to days 90. I'll put the article in the show notes, the first 90 days. And in refocus the digital effort is where align organizations to digital priorities, bring digital channels for a better competition, launch new digital offerings or channels, assess information, performance, critical decision support processes. So there's a very interesting, and I like that one on the. And if the second category, which is use new data and AI to improve business operations, recalibrate and rebuild models, develop next generation data sets and models for optimal performance. And in the first sprint, under the selectively modernized technology capabilities, is create a right sizing plan for shifting to variable cost structure and begin assessing cyber risks. Assess where organizational velocity is needed and where remote work models could drive productivity. And in sprint 2, you need to think of set up cloud-based data platform and automate software delivery pipeline, deploy new models leveraging agile and remote. In the sprint 3 is begin strengthening technology talent bench, upskill organization for accelerated digital world, develop next generation data sets and models for optimal performance, launch new digital offerings. This is your sprint 3, which is 60 to 90 days. You have to execute your 90 days plan quickly. Although the grim circumstances, the challenges, our world will continue to transform rapidly. And our dependence on technology will keep growing. There's no doubt about it. You have to challenge the purpose of legacy technology, infrastructure, applications, whatever you have, the toolkit in your organization. You have to find modern technology-driven solutions to drive efficiencies and productivity in the organization. You have to spare funds to foster R&D with experimental labs, model factories, innovation hubs in your organization, and build partnership with innovative organizations and startups. You have to enable the skill set required by your employee and add new roles to the IT team. I will just conclude this podcast with the transform digitally now for the future. That's the key point on this one, that you need to transform your organization digitally now. And that is required for the future. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. With the post-COVID-19 situation, I pray, a number of our countries are coming back, and we pray for all of the countries that we need them to come back to the normal, the new normal, where we need to live, we need to work, we need to do business, we need to go for travel, and we need to do whatever each and every one wanted to do in this world. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. This podcast is part of learning and sharing objective. I just want to reiterate, this is a personal podcast based on the experience of the host or the guests who are coming on the show. Whatever the knowledge, information, or the reference or the articles are being referred on the podcast, most of the time, and even 100%, they are being referred in the show notes on the blog. So feel free to refer them. Feel free to cross-verify or read more on the information. And have a blessed life ahead. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast, this session, and sharing and with each other, improving each other, working with each other to learn and share. Thank you so much. Have a blessed life.
Thanks for listening to the OTech Talks podcast, and be part of Tech Talks at otechtalks.tv. It's a turf to share ideas, insights, and innovations.